Welcome back to What Remains of Edith Finch. Last time we made some revelations into some more of the family members. I think it was, we went through Walter's story, Sam's story, and Gregory's story. Oh, and I think we started off with Barbara's story. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. We started off right outside of Barbara's room, and then we had to crawl in. Yeah, and it was that cheesy comic book thing. Then we just found out a little bit about Gregory, and poor kid. Why do they have lockers in here? That's a little weird.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Oh, there's...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
I love controlling the wind. Oh, we have to collect the letters.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Let's go!
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. To make him cry.
All right, where are we going next? Straight down! Oh.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come
here.
But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
What a rebel.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh, yeah, it's starting to rain. Sure enough.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
All right, we get to destroy everything.
Close and full of angry power.
Clear the
All my
beach.
father said to us was, "Make the music louder."
Oh, there we go. Wow, that got dark quick.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on
Oh,
that day.
great, it's a jellyfish
Out there
now.
on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Yeah, that mohawk there, he definitely looks like a rebel.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
All right, so it looks like we have 3 left, possibly. Huh. Interesting. Dawn's, like, just down to the slats. Cool fire extinguisher. Be a baby. Oh, we actually get to rock
Mom
climb
moved
up here.
to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Why would you want to have to do that to get up to your room? Like, that just seems like a bad idea. Okay, she's got the Bible, the incense, the rosary.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Oh, that would be so cool having a window like that. Okay, let's see what we
She
got.
spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where
Ah,
she met my
okay.
dad,
Okay.
Sanjay.
I see you, game. I see you. "10 ways to teach critical thinking." That's a thing that I notice a lot of people don't have these days, is critical thinking. Oh, I didn't realize that was a way down. Okay, well, let's head back up, I guess. Hello? Okay, there we go. I mean, I know you're pregnant, but could you climb faster? Thanks. Okay, let's see what we got out here.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Okay, so I guess then that means the theory about the leaves with the names beside the specific people is, yeah. What a view. Oh, busted staircase.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back
Probably, yeah.
and to see kids in the house again.
Oh man, I love growing mint. It's so fun to watch because it goes wild.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good.
Well, that's a neat
Almost
little room.
normal.
My question would be, how do you provide heating to all this? I don't see any vents or anything. Oh, cool. So there's like a little hamster in there.
But it didn't last.
Oh man, that brings back memories of science fair. Never again with the science fair. Never again. Oh, there it
The
goes.
beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
She gave him a castle?
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
That's kind of cool though. Like this whole area up here. Oh, wait, we're at the peak of the house. Oh, no, we're not. There's a peak up there. Let's see, can we get in there? Doesn't... Oh, yeah, it looks like we can. Okay, here we go. I feel like it's weird that all the doors would be like sealed shut with like insulation foam. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh, I used to make flip books like that all the time. Mind you, they weren't nearly as complex, but geez, I wouldn't have thought there would have been that much paper in there. Really? That's all you're giving them?
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
That's all you're giving them?
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Huh. Game, did you really have to block that side off? What a view, man. Alright, so up the stairs. Oh man, that looks rickety.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
Safest staircase
After he
I've ever
graduated,
seen.
He just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him
Lewis.
a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Figures. There's got to be that one sibling, right? Anything over here? Oh, no, it's busted. It's too bad. I kind of want to go up there. Okay, well, let's see what we got over here. I mean, interesting that your room is built on like a boat. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't think I'd trust that.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
I bet. Oh my God. Wonderland Turbo. Is that a ripoff of the Wonder Swan?
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Was that supposed to be a pun game? He died a lot, like in real life too?
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Oh, dang. That's what we're doing.
He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small.
Oh man, this is messing with my mind. We're controlling two things at once here.
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Oh. I didn't even see that opening there.
And things that have not names.
Oh,
He
this
knew it was all in his head.
is so awkward. Oh, there it goes.
But he took it very seriously.
All right, we got a candle. Or a torch,
I had hoped
whatever.
he'd find himself.
Oh, nothing. What is this, like a Diablo
But
clone?
he found something more.
All right, isometric
I
view.
worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
I was gonna say, no more fish. We done for the day?
Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
This is so awkward because, like, you're walking with
made a new
Lewis
friend.
with the left stick, and you're chopping heads off fish with the right.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Lewistopia.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something.
Wonder if there's a trophy for chopping off like a certain number of fish
Every
heads.
day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery,
I don't blame him.
but his
There's like,
chopping was as reliable as ever.
there's some days at work I can go in the office
one
and just
day it
not
struck
say
him.
anything at all for the entire day. It's so nice.
At all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet,
Doesn't mean I'm a sociopath. It just means I'm busy.
were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh man. We sailing now.
He'd
We're
conquer
on a
city
boat.
And immediately push on. New Louisville.
New Louisville. Not
St.
like,
Louis.
not like Louisville, Kentucky.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Oh, that's so cringe. Minneapolis.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Mom, stop bothering me. I'm trying to go to Minneapolis.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Ah, I stole your face.
The queen was on her own quest for
Sinister serpents.
sinister serpents.
I don't know if this has any bearing on anything.
He followed the sound of her
Let's go super cheesy on this. Of course it's a
silver
harp.
harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Dang, it's the whole screen now.
He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it.
I think it's hilarious that you have
he
like
becomes
the
something
actual
greater than
fish
him.
things that are blocking things that you have to chop. So his mind is like still stuck in the cannery. He cannot
who'd never
escape
known
the cannery
success
no
in the
matter
real
what he's
world.
doing. There's always like a
think it was
fish in the way that
overwhelming.
needs to be chopped.
And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
That's not true though.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Ah, okay. We're done chopping fish.
He began to forget the world we know.
Of course, there's the Chinese food place, Imperial Palace. Is that like... Almost looks like a makeshift, like, Wii U. Or like a Switch or something. Ah, we're back at the cannery.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Well, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do if it pays the bills. I mean, you have to do what you have to do to get
He
by
began
at
to
some
despise
point.
the man with a royal contempt.
I mean, it might not be what you want to do, but... at some point... Bro, you can stop now. Oh, are we going
I
up here?
still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be
Oh.
packed with his companions.
Interesting that they're all faceless. I don't know if they're like actually faceless or if those are just masks, but... that's kind of creepy.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
The wise calico? Like a cat? Ooh, you're a spoopy looking big boy. I'm pretty sure a calico is a type of cat. Watch it, bub. Watch it.
His queen waited, holding his crown.
Watch the
There
spears,
was only
boys.
one thing left to do.
Oh, it's so creepy that nothing has a face here.
Bend down his head.
That's not a good idea. That's a really bad idea, dude. Don't do it. Chop!
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of
Yep.
us who knew him.
Yep, he got chopped by the fish chopper. So, he was at work and
My
his
brother was really cool.
head went
I
in the
wish you
fish
could have met
chopper.
him.
So we got everybody except for Edie and Dawn. That's a rough way to go, man. Beheaded at work. Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm hoping we get to go into that library back in that like the main
On the way back
main
from
floor of the
Lewis's
house?
funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Hopefully there's like some super secret slide we can take to get back to the main part of the house. I don't want to have to hoof it all the way there.
But I understand why we left.
How do you get water up here? Like, how? You have to have like a hefty pump system. This is very, like, I don't think the local water tower on the island would be higher than this. So you would have to have it pumped up. The electricity, yeah, fine, I get that. But, like, and the plumbing would be no problem. You know what I mean? Just, basically just open a hole up on the other side of the counter and go straight down outside. But it's getting the water up that's the tricky part. Wow, it's a lot of posters.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
No kidding. Oh, is he... what is this? Disaster relief. Okay. Oh, she even wrote a book. That seems to be the thing nowadays. Literally everybody has a book.
I've been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
And I feel like it's a little bit narcissistic because, like, I mean, what would make anybody think that people would want to spend money to hear anything about, like, how your life is different than theirs?
All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
I mean, I can understand from, like, certain things, like, if you have really unique experiences, but, like, most people's lives are, like, really mundane. Not to be a total downer about it, but that's just how it is.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
That
Grandma,
doesn't look good
you
at
know what I
all.
said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Oh. I'm assuming we have to follow the light.
the power had been shut off that morning.
Aw,
but
dang.
Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That seems spectacularly unsafe.
And when you leave the house, Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Totally didn't realize I was expected to move there.
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground.
Cool.
In an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean.
That makes sense.
They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. never thought I'd go back to it.
My question here would be, I would expect there to be like some kind of fish or sea life on the ground there.
I got turned around.
Well, you know what? You don't get turned around if you just walk in a straight line.
For a while, I wandered.
Okay, so we'll just follow the text, I guess. Can't see anything otherwise.
I started seeing things.
No, come back. I want to ride. Come back.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
Like deer? Really?
But when I saw
Beds?
them, they felt like old friends. That night,
Bookshelves?
a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Really? You have a gate in the middle of the ocean?
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
Man, that's rough. You gotta put up more of a fight than that.
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Bye, Grandma. Bye.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
Oh, dang. Like gone,
After
gone,
that,
or
we moved
gone
out of
left?
bed.
Got a thing for those gloves, huh? Or, well, they're
We
not
both
really
tried to make
gloves.
the best of it.
Let's call them open finger hand socks.
A few years went by.
Because they're definitely not gloves. Hand warmers? Maybe?
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot.
Oh, there goes all the
rest
letters.
happened pretty quickly.
Oh, dang.
She got better for a while. and
That's
then
rough.
She didn't.
That's rough.
And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
That's not necessarily true.
Until I found out about you.
I mean, she's
I'm
pregnant.
still not sure what to tell you about all this.
And was it her
If we
brother?
lived forever,
Milton, I
maybe
think it
we'd have
was?
time to understand things. But as it is,
He was
I think
missing,
the best
not
we can
dead.
do is try to open our eyes.
I feel like there's
Appreciate
a
how
distinct
strange
difference
and
there.
brief all of this is.
Oh, are we in inside of a vein?
This journal was supposed to be for you,
Let's go.
but now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself.
Oh, wait, is this the kid being born?
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
That's messed up, man. This game took a very, very dark turn. I mean,
This is where your story begins.
I wasn't expecting
I'm
it to be
sorry
like
I won't be there to see it.
rainbows and flowers and
It's a lot
stuff.
to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh, dang. There's a twist. So what happened to her? And we didn't get to actually go into the library. I wonder if you can. Interesting. And we didn't fill out all of the stories. We didn't fill out Dawn's story in the book. And we didn't get the little drawing of Edie, so I feel like we missed some stuff. Interesting. This is a really interesting way to show the narrative. Oh, never mind. The end of everything. Finish all stories. Okay. Here I was thinking that I missed a bunch of stuff. So this is more just like an interactive narrative. I was kind of expecting something more along the lines of The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, but no, this is just kind of like a hallway simulator with some little mini games and stuff. And I really like that twist at the end, though, that like this whole game you're playing through, assuming you're playing from the perspective of Edith, but at the end you realize that she's not alive anymore, and it's actually her son, who he's now the last one. I would have really liked to have seen, which I don't know if it's in the game or not, but, and I don't know if the intent was to leave it to the player's imagination, but I would really like to have seen if there was any elaboration on what actually happened to Edith, because it's not really clear. She's writing, she inherited the house, she went back to look through the stuff, and then just bam, she's gone. I mean, it's probably implied at some point through the story, but this obviously is the first time I've ever gone through this, so I'm sure if I went back in and analyzed things a little more thoroughly, there's probably some hints and clues somewhere as to what may have happened to Edith, but as far as it connects to the title, What Remains of Edith Finch, it seems like nothing. It's just the little journal book that she gave to her kid. So technically nothing remains of Edith Finch. Either of them. Which, I mean, that's kind of a bleak perspective on it, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess. And I mean, these, like, what would you call them? Like hallway simulators? Walking simulators? They're not really anything like super exciting to watch, but it's just a different way of, like, there's some people like me, if I try to sit down and read a book, I'm going to fall asleep. But if I turn this on and I have like either an audiobook or an interactive story that's put in the context of like a video game with the visuals and stuff to make it engaging, I'm not going to fall asleep through it. So it's kind of just a different way of telling a narrative. I mean, overall, I think they did a really neat job with taking a different approach to each of the stories. Like, I mean, we had one that was a comic book. We had the one where you have to do like two things at once, where you're chopping off fish heads and walking around on like your adventure. They had the other one where, what was it? We were the little girl, Barbara. And we got to like play as a cat and then like a shark and then some kind of monster that was going around eating people. Really neat approach. And I mean, it was, well, I think it's a little misleading at the end. I'm pointing at the screen right now, like you can see it. The stories of Dawn and Edie at the bottom there, it's kind of misleading because the end of the game comes and you don't see that those parts of the journal are actually drawn in. So it leaves you to the assumption that you didn't get everything. which, I mean, it is what it is. And I don't understand why. So so Edith had her kid, obviously, because that's who you see at the end. But so it's assumed that this kid has the journal thing because Edith isn't alive anymore. So then, what's the date? If she was born in 1999 and she said she was... I don't know when the game takes place. I wasn't paying attention that much. I think she said she was 17, I think, at that point. So that would have put the game in 2016. And then that kid looked like he was at least like 10. 8 to 10. So that would be... Well, no, because she said she was 22 weeks pregnant when she was climbing that branch over to the house. So that would put her... I mean, she'd still be... It would still be 2016. She'd be 17, but her kid would have been born right then. And the kid doesn't seem to have a name. But so that, to me... If that kid was, let's say the kid's somewhere between 7 and 10. So if it's 2016 where this game takes place, that would mean that this kid would be reading the story about his mom, Edith Finch, somewhere between 2023 and 2026. So in this real life time window now. Interesting. And I don't think she drew enough branches on the tree because there's a finch that isn't included there. Because there should be another branch that extends out from Edith. Interesting. But I will stop rambling on speculating now. I may do one more run at this. I think what I'm going to do is see if there's any extra content that we might have missed in this, first of all. Oh, so you can just go through and pick the individual stories. Why did... Oh, I guess because their stories are linked, but none of the other stories are linked. And if you wanted to start at the beginning again, you could replay. You can just pick Edith, and it just starts from there. Interesting, but I'm probably gonna see if there's any extra content that you can do in this. I'm gonna check the trophies, see if there's anything else we can get. So I might do one more video on this. But if not, hopefully you enjoyed the little side trek from the other games we've been playing. Nice change of pace. And I think if there's nothing else, we'll probably end up calling it here and then move on to something else. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like these, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And until next time, thanks for watching.